Okay, so this is the final exam questions for art. So the first question is, what is the difference between art and non-art? So I do remember Professor Hale going over a lesson at the Tate Modern, and she mentioned something with music and how it was actually considered something with art. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I did keep that in mind whenever I was writing the answer to this question. So I said, I think that art is something that you make yourself, something that you put your heart and soul into, and something that has meaning. Um, One of the things that I did struggle with trying to define for myself what is art and what is non-art is like finding meaning in it. Like at the Pompidou, there was that piece with like the red lines. Um, And like personally, I think that's kind of hard to define as art because like what is the point? Like what is the meaning behind it, you know? So I feel like it's a little touchy subject, but also after this trip, I kind of learned that a lot of different things that I wouldn't think about could be art. Um like even the architecture and the columns, like you just wouldn't think about that different stuff being art and a part of art history. So it's kind of hard to define art. It's almost undefinable. But anyways. So the second question is, how is seeing art in person different instead of seeing it in a book? So I said that seeing the art in person almost makes it more tangible. Um, like whenever you're looking at the pieces, you can see the tiny brush strokes. Like you can see like almost imagine like what the painter was doing, you know? And also like the different sizes of the pieces. Like even looking at the Mona Lisa in person versus in the book, like you can't actually comprehend how small it is until like you go and you see it in person. So I think it's something that, I'll never forget, and it's honestly different for everyone because a lot of people can learn um from books, but I think seeing it in person, it just really like seals it in. I also said that even like just seeing the Eiffel Tower, you can never really truly comprehend its size. You can really never truly comprehend every single little piece that goes into it until we were like taking the elevator to the top of the tower, and you can see every single metal piece that goes into it. It's just like it's it's mind-blowing. So the third question was, what do you think about people risking their lives for some of the art that you witnessed? Um I said that I think a lot of people that make these pieces are very passionate about what they do, and I feel like a lot of people would risk their lives for what they love and what they believe in. Um Now, I said I personally don't have that same like passion for art. So I personally wouldn't put myself on that risk, but I think it's important to try and like see their point of view on why they would risk it, risk their lives for the stuff that they're doing. Because I think like a lot of people with different aspects in their lives would risk their lives for something that they love or something they believe in. Um, so the fourth thing was, explain the moments that you experience wonder. I said I really enjoyed seeing the Eiffel Tower. I like whenever I was younger, I used to have the Eiffel Tower just like all over my room, like it was an explosion of Eiffel Tower different things, and I've always wanted to go to Paris. And um so again, just like thinking like about how much time and like the different pieces that went into it and the size. I was like looking up to it and my eyes were just like so big. And then I said, honestly, walking around London, it just wasn't something that I ever expected to really love London as much as I did, and the architecture and the beauty, and like even just walking around all the buildings, especially because that was the first place that we went and I'd never really seen anything like it. Um, and I loved that they had gardens like on in every square, and like learning about the history of like why they had gardens and like I thought it was so interesting, and it made me wonder, like, about every building and what it was before and where it came from, and yeah, it was just really interesting. And then I also experienced wonder in the memorial in Paris. Um so I did find my last name on the wall of the victims, and it really made me want to look more into my family's history and see if we're connected. I did ask my grandparents, but they weren't sure, so they were like, we need to ask their aunt, and I was like, okay. So I'm still waiting to hear back, but I will let y'all know. And the fifth question is, how do you think this trip and your experience will affect your future self? So I said, honestly, like every day I was walking around London and I was in Paris and I was like, there's no way that I'm here right now. And I was honestly just so grateful for the opportunity, because I was like, what 20-year-old gets to do this? Who gets to go to London and Paris for 2 weeks? It's just like not a lot of people can experience that and do that. So I just felt really grateful. And it taught me to like be more open-minded and, try and see things from every perspective and really be grateful for every opportunity that I have. And it even made me want to explore more of, the US's history and the US's art, and because I'd never really been like a museum person. I never really thought that I enjoyed museums or really enjoyed looking at art in general. And then every single day that we were in London and Paris, like that was one of my favorite parts of the day. So I really liked that. And it also made me more comfortable traveling. I've only really traveled with my family. So, I think it'll definitely affect my future self in the way that I want to travel more, and I would love to live in London or Paris for a year. And I honestly think it made me realize that I need to appreciate every day more and find, the good things in every day, because even talking to the people in London and Paris, they were like, oh, we just live in London, we just live in Paris. And I feel like we all get into that mindset where like, oh, we just live here, like I used to live in Colorado and I never appreciated the mountains as much as I did, and now I live in Texas and I'm like, oh, I miss the mountains. But really take every day and use it to yeah. Thank you.